Alright, we're going to put the rocker boxes on now. I went and got a couple spark plugs in here, put a little anti-seize on the threads, screwed them all in there. So first we get our little center O-rings, seals, what do you want to call them. Stick them in there. You got to make sure the grooves are all dry and don't have any silicone or other crap they put in there to hold, try to make things seal when they've got bad O-rings. Okay, these we got two different O-rings. We got a center one and a top one. So you can see the difference in these. This one here has the pockets in it, this one doesn't. So the first one we put down does not have pockets because that's what the rocker box is. See, there's no, I can't see what we're looking at. There we go. There's no pockets to fill in. So this just goes in there like that. Gotta make sure you get over the whole thing. Pull back a little bit. So what I do is I just make sure everything sits in there like it should be. Kind of roll the inner edge in if it doesn't want to go. Just try to roll her in there. See how it pops out on this side. So you just kind of roll it a little bit. And you go ahead and get the center segment on it. So you double check, make sure everything's in there, and of course this one rolled out a little bit. And this one rolled out. Kind of fighting a little bit here. Okay, so they're both in. I'll lay that on there before it pops up. Kind of wiggle and press on a little bit and make sure it doesn't pop out. So if you have to, you can put a little grease on it to help hold things in. So it's hard to do with one hand, so let me put this back over here so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure this thing actually is going in all the way, because right now it's not. Okay, right now it's all the way down. So you look at your gap here and see how it looks equal. It's also not rocking. It was rocking on me a little bit, that's why I knew something was wrong. Okay, now we put the ones that have the pockets on. Same deal, just make sure it's all in the grooves. Make sure the center one's in there because it leaks quite a bit when you forget it. Not that I've ever done anything like that, of course. At least not this week. Alright, we got narrow holes and wide holes, so your cover has narrow and wide. So make sure you put that on the correct way. And same deal, look at the edges, make sure it's all sitting in there square and not rocking, so we're good. Okay, for the hardware, these are aftermarket covers come with these 12-point bolts instead of Allen's. Blow this up a little bit so you can see it. So, too far. What I do is I use a special hardened heat-treated washer. That way it gets a nice steady pull. Pushes flat. And these are format material gaskets. They have a little aluminum or stainless shim in between two pieces of foam type material. And those are your best sealing ones. This allows you to torque it down nice and hard and it stays flat so it doesn't split the O-ring, doesn't split the gasket out like a lot of them do when they get too much torque on them, or when the washer bows down it just spreads it right apart. Harley uses a flat washer and they use a copper washer, and you could put 15 washers on there. If they're all shitty washers, they still bow out. So use a good washer like this and you don't have a problem. Now this I use a little bit of Loctite on. We use the lighter duty stuff, which is my 3-bond blue. Now, these bolts are really long for some reason. They don't really need to be that long, I don't think. No, they do need to be that long. They just look like they're longer than what I remember them being. So we'll go ahead and get all 4 of them started first. Make sure you get all the washers on there. Pull this back a little bit. So I'm just putting the Loctite on these like that. Okay, they're all started. Center up your segment pieces there. Make sure they stay flat. If you feel them pop up, you can take them back off and put them on correctly. Use a socket here to bring them down. Just bring them down until they touch. Okay, make sure everything looks like it's in there correctly. I like taking a flashlight and look on the inside edge and make sure there's actually an O-ring in there where it belongs. Nothing's wadded up. Okay, now you take your little plastic hammer and beat these things around until they fit nicely. And always make the right side fit the best. This side's first, then the front, and then this side, and that's last. Because that's the side you see. On the back, it's the opposite. Try to get these as even as you can. It's kind of limited what you can do with them, but I always like to rough them in a little bit first. Good. And then I go ahead and pull them down with the wrench a little bit. It's very important to pull them down evenly. I do the cross pattern just like you do the head walls. I'm giving about a third of a turn each time coming down. Double check your fit here. Looks like about close as we're going to get probably. Okay, go ahead and bring these down some more. You need to be careful about stripping these out. That one's bottomed out, that one bottomed out, that one bottomed, that one, and that one. Okay, then I go ahead and put a little torque to them. And remember, we got Loctite holding them together, so you don't need to get super hard on this tension, but it does take a little bit. Okay, so that one looks pretty good. So over here you can see how we push this back all the way. How we got this edge relatively even right through here, and this corner right here where you can see it. The gas tank's here, but you see this corner and this whole side real good, up to about here where the carburetor air cleaner overlaps you, and the gas tank's here. And on this side here, it's hard to see much of anything, but you kind of see this corner here a little bit, and that's about it. So that's how you do that. So that makes it look nice and smooth. So now we go ahead and do the back one. And do it the same way. Get it over here a little bit better. Okay, we already get the center one in there. So we get our outer one here. Now this particular one can go either direction because it's the same, covers the same shape. On a big twin they're different. So make sure we got these in here. Okay. Right now it looks like. You also got to make sure you got the breather in the right spot too. That's kind of important. Okay, that's in there good. Like I said, if you have a problem trying to hold these in there, some nice thick wheel bearing grease works really good. You just put a little bit inside the groove and then you stick the O-ring on top of it and it'll hold it for a minute or so. Enough time for you to get the damn cover on there. See, this one wants to bow up over on that side. It's not too bad, so I can work around it. These little thin inner pieces here want to pop up too. See, that one's fighting me a little bit, but I'll live with it, I think. So I just got to push straight down, but I have to double check that. You can kind of rub them back and forth slightly to help drop them down if they're really fighting you hard. Okay, looks like it went in there correctly. Everything's nice and flat. It's a good sign. Even though they feel good, they can still be on the inside where you can't see them. So no matter how many times you do them, every now and then you screw one up and you can take these back off after you start the bike up and they leak like a so. So just be real careful and do the best you can. You can usually feel it better than you can see it. They don't really match up all that well. And check my inner one again. Make sure it all looks like it's in there. You can actually see the whole rubber on that one. Just about hitting. Alright, get close. That one hit. That hit. It's on there. And that one hit. Okay, now we go ahead and torque these again. A short extension on there helps better. That's good. 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 Alright, so that's all on there. Now I go ahead and pull the spark plugs out so I can turn the motor over. We just want to double check and make sure there's no contact on the rocker arms of the box or something stupid going on. Okay, seems to be good. You can see I put anti-seize on the threads right there. Make sure you keep it off the electrode. Kind of important. Okay, these I only screw in a little way so I know they're loose because we still have to time this motor. So the last thing I do before we go put in the frame is I get my washer for my alternator. And go this down a little bit. So that goes in first. Right up against your spacer, and that's the one that's 90 to 100 thou thick. And we got our rotor. There's no spacer in here, that's why you have to have a washer. On the outside it takes that large diameter, a 1/4 inch thick washer goes on the outside. So you make sure you don't have any shrapnel in here or loose magnets or big chip magnets. So this one looks okay. Now when you put this in there, don't put your fingers like that because it'll hurt. So you just kind of lay it in there. line it up slightly, and it just pops in with the magnets. And then you go in there and you push on it. Over here on the side. Push right over here where the stator is at. And you make sure that you can push the rotor in a little bit. That means you got some clearance on that thing. Because if this rotor's if it sits in too deep, it'll just cut the stator wires right in half. So you want to make sure that it seems like it's got some clearance. So this one seems like there's clearance. So it should be pretty good. Because there's a difference between shovelhead and evolutions, and there's a lot of differences in twin cams. So, but anyway, for now, that's pretty much where we're at. I got the motor all done for now. At this point, it's ready to go into the frame. I already got all the gaskets up in here. So the only thing I do is put the manifold on it, put the ignition in it, and put your O-ring around into primer and shove it into your bike. So that'll be probably tomorrow's project or the next day. So we're done with this one for now. So that's what they look like. All done and ready to go make some horsepower.